All right, so I figured I'd do a quick update. So I've been doing a lot of sanding, body work, plastic filler, fiberglass stuff. You can see there's lots of dust on the floor. I'm trying to keep it as clean as possible, but it's definitely a mess, but going pretty well. Been working on the doors for quite a while. They take actually a lot of time, just because there's a lot of detail involved in them. There were a couple spots just when I was getting it initially fitted where I had holes that, when I moved it around and kind of refit it, I didn't need those holes anymore, so I had to fill it in a couple places. I'm going to put a hole here for basically the electrical wires for the door poppers and door locks and that kind of thing. So just doing some work there. Making sure that where the window goes is nice and even. Again, I had to do the bottom edge, extend this up because the panel wasn't going to fit and I wouldn't have been able to fit the bottom of the panel. But that looks pretty good right now. And a lot of work here around where the door latch is. I finally got it. Basically, you have to kind of initially cut it to oversize unless you're really good at kind of predicting, because it's this three-dimensional where the door lock is, and it's hard to plan where to make the initial cut, so you kind of have to make it over big, and then I've basically been filling it in so that when the door lock goes in there, it'll be nice and tight fit, and it'll look decent. So been doing that. That's a lot of work, lots of little edges and corners and all that kind of stuff to make sure that it fits properly. There were, again, just a couple stress cracks that I had found that I filled in and reinforced. So again, just a ton of work for the doors. The doors are probably taking more time than the actual body itself to get these done. So that's what I've been doing. As far as the rest of the body work, we have, I've been obviously doing all the seams. They're pretty good now. I'll go over with another coat of body filler. Is fitting the back hatch, and noticed that some of the gaps were really wide in a couple places. So I've been filling in to close those gaps up a little bit, and they look much better now with a little bit of body filler in there. Same thing along the top edge. When you put the back hatch on, and you have to put the window on as well, just to make sure that this top gap is even all the way across. So I've been doing that. Getting the hood scoop smoothed out. Obviously you can see I've been sanding it, but it's nice and smooth now. There's still a couple of low spots just from the shrinkage of the body filler, so I will have to go through with another kind of skim coat just to get it all even, but it actually looks pretty good. So happy with that. Also been doing the hood, and you can see I've done some more fiberglass, so it's been really hard to kind of figure out where this back edge of the hood should be without it being on the car. So I've kind of been doing as good as I can to kind of line up the body seams with the wheel well, and then basically going much over what I need, and then I'm going to grind this back, and I'll show you kind of, I did the same thing on the other side. Just walk around here real quick. So this one's pretty much finished. So you can see that body seam follows a nice kind of curve, and it's really hard to kind of get the exact curve that you want, because from different angles it looks right and others it's not quite right. So I'm not going to be a perfectionist about this, but I think it looks pretty good the way it is. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And again, I've been doing the hood, getting all of these scoops nice and smooth. Still got to do a lot of detailing on some of these corners. Same thing with the vents here, trying to make them nice and smooth and even. And so I still have a little bit of filler to put in to make them smooth. They were a little bit flimsy So I've kind of been trying to reinforce them too, and I probably can't see, but underneath there is I have put some carbon fiber reinforcement under there so that they're nice and stiff. I don't know if I mentioned this, but when I made these cutouts, obviously, you know, it's the hood, you need to have some structure to it, so taking this out, you lose a little bit of that rigidity to that hood. And I was noticing that, you know, this part was flexing a little bit, not a whole lot, but more than I had liked. And so I knew I needed to kind of reinforce that. There is, if you look underneath the hood, just a plastic reinforcement from Factory 5. And in this area here, it's just a really thin, like less than 1/8 thick piece of plastic in that area. As part of the reinforcement. So it really wasn't doing a whole lot, and when I cut it out, I don't think I did too much, but what I did do was, and I can, when I flip the hood over, I'll show you again, but I did a lot of carbon fiber reinforcement in this area, and this is now really, really solid. I mean, there is no flex to that whatsoever. That's a solid hood right there. So I'm really happy with that. So I did basically carbon fiber all along the front, all up those seams both sides, across the middle, and actually spanning from this side all the way across and up through the middle as well. So lots of carbon fiber. It's light, didn't really increase the weight of the hood, but it is rigid for sure. So that's pretty much it for now. Again, just doing some body work. I thought I'd give you some updates. Still a lot more to do, but just wanted to show you where I was at this point. It's going smoothly. Still, it's a long process, but I have the rest of it covered over because it gets pretty dusty in here, so I'm trying to keep it as clean as possible. And then we'll hopefully at some point soon be able to kind of shoot some primer. I'll just kind of show you what I'm using right now. So I've been using kind of more of that greenish blue. Is this Everglass. It's a fiberglass, it's a reinforced body filler, so I've been using it on the seams and in the areas where you need a little bit extra strength, and it's been working really well. It's pretty easy to sand, and I've been using this fiberglass fairing compound in a few spots where you also kind of need a little bit of structure and rigidity. So I've been using it up here on this the roof scoop, and also in these areas where I'm kind of widening the hatch area. So that's also been working out. It's a little bit more difficult to sand. It is. It's very, very solid when it cures. A little bit more difficult to sand than the other stuff here, but works out pretty well. So I know it's nice and strong. So that's it so far. I'll do another little update once I get a little bit farther along. Still got quite a bit of work to do on the hood, especially underneath. And then after that, I'll probably give it a spray with some primer. I'm going to probably again turn this body upside down again, and just so I can get at least a clear coat or two on the carbon fiber headliner, and get that kind of finished up before I spray it. So then I'll kind of cover it up with tape and some paper, and then I'll be able to do the rest of the body work. But I want to kind of get that done because I won't be able to do that once the body is on the car, because the roll bar will be in the way. So I'll get that clear coated and pretty much complete, and then I'll finish the rest of the body work.